Hi and welcome back to the channel from a very sunny Chatsworth house. So today, whilst we're wandering around Chatsworth, we wanted to talk to you about how to choose a puppy. Just some hints and tips, more or less, because actually I've just decided to get a new puppy. How exciting! So we thought we'd just explain some of the little things about what sort of decisions and choices I've made and how that might help you choose your new puppy. When you first start to think about you want a new puppy, you need to really think hard about what kind of breed is going to suit your lifestyle. So think less about what the dog might look like. I know that's important, we all want a nice looking dog, but actually the type of behaviours that breed is going to exhibit, that's what you really want to think about. So as you know, my breed is Munsterlanders and they need 2+ hours a day walking. That's not going to suit everybody. So that's a really good example of the sort of thinking about the sort of breed that's going to suit your lifestyle. So that's the first thought. Second thing to think about is what kind of age of puppy you want. So if you're going to get a puppy straight from the breeders, then you're ideally talking an 8-week-old puppy. If you're going to get one from a rescue centre, then it's likely to be an older puppy. So think about what age of puppy that you're wanting to get. The younger the puppy, the easier it is going to be trained to the things that you want to do, because you're getting that raw recruit. No one's already started to instill in that puppy's brain what sort of things might be acceptable or not acceptable. 8 weeks old is the ideal time to get a puppy home, because that's when it's old enough to leave its mum. It's learnt a lot of the lessons it needs to from its litter mates. So that's where mum's going to teach the puppy a little bit of discipline. I know that's an unfashionable word these days. I'm not talking about violence, we're just talking about what's acceptable and what's not. That's really important for puppy to learn. So you definitely wouldn't want a puppy much earlier than 8 weeks old taken from its mum. So they also learn a lot from their litter mates. So the puppies will play with each other, and then if something isn't quite right between them, so one puppy's getting a little bit too much for the other puppy, then likelihood is that that puppy will squeal and ouch and say, well, I'm not playing anymore then. And that's how that boisterous puppy learns that's too much. So it's really important to leave those puppies together so they have those early lessons in what's acceptable and what's not. So nothing to do with dogs, but just look at this. Litter everywhere. Why would you come to a beautiful place like this and do that? Unbelievable. Once you've decided what breed of puppy you want to get, most people then turn their minds to a budget, which is completely understandable. However, in my view, after which kind of breed you want, the really important thing is selecting a really healthy puppy. And it might seem almost obvious that, well, surely all puppies are going to be healthy, aren't they, if you get them as little puppies? But that's not the case. There are an awful lot of problems in specific breeds, general health issues, just the same as us humans have health issues, and some of those will be known. So why get a puppy that's got a known health issue or a high risk of a known health issue? So as well as physical things, you need to think about the temperament of the dog. So most people don't want an aggressive dog as a really good example. So thinking about what are the likely temperament of that puppy given its mum and dad, grandmas, granddads, etc., back through its lineage. So what's the likelihood of any health issues, any temperament issues? Frankly, my best advice is avoid them. You're going to have this puppy for, depending on the breed, anything from 10 years to 18 years. So why take on a problem? Save yourself a lot of heartache, potentially a lot of vet bills, by getting a healthy puppy. So thinking about health, don't just take the breeder's word for it. Do some research. You're going to have this puppy a long time. It's well worth just checking out. So is what this breeder's telling me their view, or is it actual reality? Is that what other people say about the dog's sire and dam? Another thing to consider is if the puppy's mum or dad are registered by the kennel club, that's what the breeders are telling you, then check that out as well. You can check that with the kennel club. Don't just take their word for it. Actually check everything out. If your puppy is being sold to you as registered, check the certificate out, because it's dead easy for them these days to produce a certificate that looks genuine. If you think about the sort of publishing software that we can get, it's really easy to do, and some less desirable characters will do that. So some really good breeders will want to put you on a list. They are likely to want to check you out because they don't want their puppies going to someone that might not treat them well. So the really good breeders are the ones that are quite, or it feels, quite awkward with you about asking lots of questions. How you're going to keep the puppy, what you're going to do with puppy, are you home all the time, are you going to leave puppy? They're quite choosy who they allow to have their puppies. And what's really interesting is they are the people that you're not going to pay a lot of money for those puppies. The puppies that you pay a lot of money for, usually, in my experience, poorly bred. So if you're seeing £3,000 for a puppy, chances are it's not a well-bred puppy. If you're spending a lot more time trying to convince somebody that you're the right person to have that puppy, chances are you're not going to pay as much for it, and it's going to be a really well-bred puppy. So think about that. good breeders are highly likely to make you go through some kind of vetting procedure, so they will want to know that their puppy is going to a good home, and no amount of money is going to make them give you their puppy if they're not convinced that you're not going to look after it properly. So that's not just about you having money and being able to pay somebody to walk the dog or whatever. It's about the kind of home the puppy's going to have, and it's going to have a fulfilling life with someone that loves it and is going to take care of it in the right way for that breed type. It's really important as well that you at very least see the mother. Now I know that might sound obvious to some folks listening, but it's surprising how often I come across people who buy puppies and have never even seen the mother. So really think about, if the breeder is saying the mother isn't available to be seen for whatever reason, chances are that reason isn't genuine and honest. So, think really carefully about that. At very least, you need to see mother. You need to see mother with the pups, not separately. If you see it separately, how do you know it's the mother? Again, if you can, ideally, you want to see the dad as well. So you want to see that both dogs are really nice dogs. That's not always possible. The father of the dogs often doesn't live with the mother, but if you can, go somewhere and see the dad as well. So one real red flag is if the puppies are no longer with mum. Whatever the reason is that the breeder is telling you that, definitely before 7 weeks you wouldn't touch that puppy with a barge pole. It's really easy when you see puppies that aren't being treated well. It's really easy to feel sorry for them and to take them for that reason. The difficulty is you're paying money for that pup. Paying money for that pup means that breeder will keep on doing it because they're getting that monetary reward. So you're actually feeding what they're doing. They're just going to keep doing it. So I know it sounds really harsh, but it's really important in that scenario. Just walk away. Don't do it. I know it's really hard, but honestly, if you do that, you're putting a stop to this because they're just doing it for money. If they don't get the money, they'll stop doing it. So the buzzword that most people have heard of is puppy farms, but most people really wouldn't know what to look for. But it just basically means that someone is exploiting those dogs to have multiple puppies, multiple litters in as short a space as time for monetary profit. I mean, going down steps is a killer. I'd rather go up than down any day of the week. But if you're gonna go up, you've got to come down. Go. These steps are actually quite slippy as well. And be super careful. And Michael's being careful. So things to look out for, just in case it's a puppy farm. Lots and lots of dogs in the house, outside of the house. They might say they're just having them for the day. They can give all sorts of different reasons. But if there's a lot of dogs and there's a lot of puppies, you've got to sort of think about that quite carefully. Because yes, there are some people legitimately have a lot of dogs, and they might have maybe 2 litters, but when you're talking multiple, highly suspicious. Again, if you think about it, how are they going to really look after all of those puppies well? So your chances are they're going to be dirty, or if they're not dirty, have they just been washed? Have you seen the place where the puppies are actually being kept? They're all things to think about, clues. Well, would you look at this? It's 7 o'clock and there's still a queue for the bus.